It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. The person, if anyone knows, there was a trans swimmer who won gold in the NCAA, I think, college. Won gold by a bloody long way. But the trans person, trying to get my words right, that won gold was a man. Well, actually, for this, I don't know where the lines are, but this person still had a penis, but was going through the transition. But she's got full development as a man. So she was a good swimmer as a man. So that's what she was. She was a swimmer as a man. So that means she's going to be a much better swimmer as a female.
Yeah, even though like her, if they test her or whatever, and her hormone levels are now similar to that of a female, she spent however many years, 20 plus years as a male, building strength as a male. Like, there is a reason there are male and female categories. There are some specific genetic differences that allow men to perform at higher levels in certain sports. Like, yes, there are outliers. Like, you've got that, obviously, Tia Claire Toomey is going to be fitter than the average male CrossFitter. But
Put them both in the games. Tia's the strongest woman in the games, but she'd be the weakest man.
Yeah, and then that's why there's categories. Like, equal opportunity, equal sport, that's fine. But if you really want to go down this route of letting former males go to trans females
and then compete with
females, well, then might as well get rid of both sex categories and have it a full equal competition. But then that's not going to be fair to female athletes.
That's the equal opportunity versus equal outcome, right? It's which one do you want to achieve.
But you can't have men crossing over and competing at a high level in female sports, or any level really. No, socially, if you want to, but especially not in contact sports. Imagine, right? You've worked hundreds of years for women's rights, right? You've been through the suffragettes. You've done all these things for women's rights, for then men to come into your sport and win.
Trans women.
You can't. They're always going. I think this trans person was something like 460th in the college, as a male. So a good swimmer, but 460th is the best female swimmer. Think about those other 4 women, or 2 women, or the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. That was their last ever swim race in college, and they didn't get the recognition they deserve.
What do you think is the best case scenario, though, like for inclusivity? Because
just make it trans.
Just have a trans. Just
have a transit, and it will obviously get bigger. As female sport is getting bigger right now, right? It's getting bigger. It's getting more views. Everyone's getting money. If more people are transitioning to trans and all the freedom to do them, and you know what? Good on you. But have a trans category and be the best, because you are in that middle. But you can't go into female. Like the AFL trans person a few years ago was the same. But then I'm not against the person, even the swimmer. She's
playing by the rules.
Doing whatever. Do you want to compete? There you go. Like doing everything she wants to in their power. Again, I keep getting sort of words confused. I don't want to. It's the governing bodies that shouldn't do this. I brought this up a few times after weeks. You had back in the day, in the probably early 2000s, that South African female runner, the best runner. All she had was high testosterone. She was a female with exceptionally high testosterone, no drugs, no nothing. She got her gold medal stripped from her because her testosterone was too high and wasn't in the normal levels for being a female. And now, a decade on, you've got what were men now competing as females after going through a full, through puberty as a male. I could go now, I said the other day, I don't play rugby, right? If I went and go and played men's rugby now, I get crushed, right? Or at a high grade. I could pick up a rugby ball now and go and play professional female sport in rugby. It's ridiculous.
There's just, again, like, you can't, this is not, like, it is a tough conversation to have because people get offended by things really easily, but there's certain genetic things that happen to male and females as they go through puberty, like the angle of the hip, the Q angle of the hip for female athletes, the way their bodies adjust when they're on their periods. Like when you have your period as a female athlete, you're like the stats on you being able to go through ACL reconstructions, everything goes through the roof. Your risk is like crazy. Like trans men won't have to do that,
Yeah.
or trans females. Whatever it is. So confusing. But yeah, it's simple. Like there will be a point. It seems to be a big sort of trend at the moment where the world is becoming more inclusive to people who want to go from male to female, and that's
Correct.
fine. All power to you. And I think that will be reflected in, and they even become more prominent, more welcomed if they're like, hey, we have a trans competition available. Like, come, you are more than welcome here. And then no one can say shit because there's a male, female, and there's a trans. They can have trans female, trans male. We just solved the world problem.
I don't know about
It's
that.
tough. And you feel for the person, like it's tough, but yeah, that's
Like,
Right,
it
that's
happens,
ridiculous.
it
It's
happens in
insane.
combat sports. Like,
Well, it happened.
someone fucking died.
And then there was that woman in the UK and said that she was like, she never felt a punch like it, never felt force like it in her life.
Yeah.
Like, and where do you stop, right? So say, I know this is a big example. Tyson Fury, 6'9", heavyweight boxing champion of the world, never lost a fight in his life. Like, absolutely destroys every man that comes near him. If he chooses to become a female, I know there's more to it, but say, because again, in these countries, in like a lot of these countries, they will transition people to go and win gold medals.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? So where does the line stop? Do you know what I mean? Where does the line go, hey, no, this is ridiculous now? Because that's where it will go. Some of these countries will push it and go, no,
Yeah.
we're
Like,
transitioning to win gold because there's so much money in it.
chop off his willy, change his hormones to an acceptable level of a female, he's still going to be 6'9" and 120 plus kilos.
Mm.
Like, he's going to win.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.